right, welcome back. I just wanted to talk a little bit more on this fight. Um, Make no mistake, I'm a fan of Melissa Croden. I like watching her fights. I like the power. I like the entertainment. I like her ability, her willingness to get in a dogfight. I like the killer instinct. I'm always on the edge of my seat in anticipation of a possible stoppage. This fight last night was Melissa Croden's first victory by decision. Before this fight, she won all her fights by stoppage. And realistically, this fight should have been stopped towards the end of the third round as well. It really should have been another stoppage in her favor. And so I started looking at some of her older fights, Melissa's older fights. And the thing about her, man, that I have to point out, that I completely forgot to point out before, she's an older fighter. And if you ask me, it seems like she's absorbed a lot more punishment than the average female MMA fighter her age. And she's been in wars that's so significant, where it's such a significant war, bloody battle war, that, you know, it might have an effect on her. It might have an effect on her motor skills. This is just what it is, man. When you look at her fights, I'm talking about fights before she got into the UFC. I'm not talking about UFC bouts. Pre-UFC bouts. Go through her career already. And she doesn't have that many fights. But already, it's like every fight, bloody, knockdown, drag out. I almost get stopped myself. I come out and pull a miracle, a bite down, and I grind and I eked out another victory. She is in her mid-30s. And if you go through her career, man, she has been through an unusual, compared to other female fighters, unusual number of wars. Straight up wars. And that just don't sit well with me. That don't sit well with me. I think that's one of the things that could be working against her. You know, when your motor skills start to decline, your speed declines, your coordination, your ability to get out of the way, to move your head left to right, and things like that. And I just see like she's just far too easy to hit. The only thing she really got going for her is her boxing and power. Boxing and power. Look at this. You see this? How many of y'all watched this fight? Let's go! Croden gets knocked down 4 times. I think this is against Cavalcante. Just straight up knocked down, drag out. Okay, she gets knocked down here, and right, extremely slow starter, gets knocked down again. She's way too slow for Cavalcante. It's like not even fair to put her in there with Cavalcante. The speed difference is dramatic. I don't know what Croden can do to, patch this up. Then look, boom. See, when she gets in there with a sharp striker, it's going to be bad. Now, Zheleznyakova is a decent striker herself. She's decent. I don't think Zheleznyakova is Cavalcante level. And I think there are some girls out there who can stand with Cavalcante. I mean, just knock down repeatedly. This is Melissa Croden, man. She has been in some straight up wars. It's unusual. The Arturo Gatti of the UFC for the females. No doubt about it. Now, when you look at that roster, it doesn't look good for her, in my opinion. You saw what Luana Santos was able to accomplish. Bia Mosqueda is now ranked. I think I called for that. I said they should rank her. She's ranked. Boy, they better watch out for her. That girl is something else. I'm excited. I hope she continues to dominate. And that's why I'm making this. I want Croden to be dominant. I want to see her use that power to knock these broads out, instill fear in these broads. I want to see some unusual type power, break chicks' faces, hit them, and make them feel power like they've never felt before. Now, in my opinion, she should look at herself as a power puncher and, base her style. Her style should be tailored to complement that. Based around getting to your opponent and punching them in the mouth. Do y'all know? Go back and watch that fight if you haven't already. I think it was in the second round. The second round of that fight, when Melissa sent Zheleznyakova on her bike. Do you know what punch she landed that Zheleznyakova like, oh, that's it. She hits too hard. She's too strong. I'm out of here. She landed a jab. Go back and watch it. It was at, I think I got the window. I think I got the window pulled up. It's sort of like at the 4-minute-ish mark. Oh, yeah. I did 4 minute, 38 seconds. Can y'all see this? I can't play it because this is the actual Paramount Plus website. Right here, the 4 minute and 40 second mark. Zheleznyakova took a jab, and you could see it in her face. She was like, whoa. And that's when she started running. That's when she started to become a track star. Understand, she got sent on her bike from a jab. Croden is iron-fisted. She's hurting these chicks with jabs. This is George Foreman, Sonny Liston type stuff. But you gotta have everything else going for you to complement it. That way, you gotta be able to do other things. I think she needs to throw more kicks. Definitely need to cut off the cage more. She's not cutting off the cage enough. You can't have fighters just running circles around the cage like that. You can't do that. Can't do it. Gotta attack the body far more. When it comes to, again, good example I just used with George Foreman. A staple in his career, whenever he ran across a runner, Foreman exclusively targeted their body. He would pulverize their bodies in that first round. And you wouldn't see him throwing hard headshots till around the second, third round. That's how you need to do these types of fighters. That's how Croden should do these types of fighters. Because, and I'm saying that because most fighters are going to want to run from you. Most fighters are going to want to do exactly what Zheleznyakova did. Get up out of there before you throw something in return and hurt me. These fighters look at your record before they get in the cage to fight you, and they see, oh snap, she stopped all of her opponents. Everybody she defeats, she stops. This is an unusually strong, big woman. She's sort of like a giant. Her legs, and I believe that's where much of her power comes from, the big, robust, tree trunk like legs. She is a intimidating specimen. Intimidating, and for good reason. Make these girls feel that power. If the headshots that Croden throws and lands has that much of an impact on her opponents, could you imagine what body shots would do? What kind of results she would get from a good, stiff left hook to the body? This girl was wide open for it all night. And she was helping Croden to land it by circling in that direction. I just see a lot of room for growth, but I just don't think it's going to happen. She's already in her mid-30s, okay? And I just don't like the amount of punishment that she has absorbed thus far in her career. Don't like it. And it's weird. This is a different experience. With WMMA, I'm usually dealing with women who don't fight to their fullest potential, who got the potential, but they don't fight like they got it. It's almost like they don't even know their own strengths. When you are a power puncher, your whole style needs to be catered to landing them. To put it simply, catered to landing them. It's just like in boxing. If your best shot is a left hook to the body, you do everything to set it up. But this can't keep going on. That bantamweight division, yeah, we've been talking about how dead it is, but you still got some girls that gonna mess you up. That girl Nora Coronel, I think she could probably beat Croden. She is another striker who got serious pop in her shots. She's sneaky, light on her feet, quick, be running circles around Melissa Croden. Some of these lower ranked fighters are going to be able to defeat you just because of the way that you fight. And another thing that you have to take advantage of, these fighters, many of them are coming in there with a fear of her. A big motivator for these ladies is the low likelihood that they get knocked out. To have to fight a iron-fisted closer puts them on edge, puts them on high alert. So when they get in there with you, Croden, they are going to be more ferocious than they've ever been. They're going to throw those punches harder than they've ever thrown them because of how threatening they see you as. You got to think like this. They are, soon as the fight starts, they're already in fight or flight mode. They're already in survival mode. They don't want to get knocked out. They don't want to get bashed by this chick who almost, punched like a flipping man. I want to see that. I want to see a female who got monster power and knocking chicks out. We almost had it with Croden. And, you know, it's still possible. Fingers crossed. I want to see some scare. I want to see a menace. That's what I've always wanted to. I've always enjoyed menacing fighters. I might be conditioned by Mike Tyson. I will confess. You know, grew up in the Mike Tyson era, but it adds so much excitement to the sport. It draws so much attention to the sport, and it's highly unusual. And do you know how quick Croden would blow up if she were really, truly just, messing these girls up? Yet you got to find a way to land your best shots. So I don't like her against Nora. No. I would take Nora in that fight. See, this is what I'm talking about. Girls that are ranked low, I'm like, no. That's too much for Croden. I think Mayra Bueno Silva is a very, very winnable fight for Croden. I would take Croden over Silva. Jocelyn Edwards, no. I think Jocelyn Edwards would mess Melissa Croden up. I just do, man. She's already semi-struggling with girls who are unranked. In wars, bloody wars with unranked girls. No disrespect. She's already been in there with Cavalcante, Macy Chiasson. I would take Chiasson over Croden. I would. Same with Carol Rosa. Same with Aileen Perez. Same with Irene Aldana. I would take all of these fighters over Melissa Croden. But I would be a lot more reluctant to take them over Croden if Croden had a different style. If she did the things that I've mentioned. So kind of unusual. I've never covered a fighter like this. Usually with the women, they're either a good wrestler, and if they're a good striker, they're not knockout artists. They're not, they don't get George Foreman, Mike Tyson-esque like power. But here's Croden. Does not have the best speed. In fact, most of her shots, I would say, look rather slow. That's another reason why it's important to stay close and to start fast. You gotta establish your assertiveness early. As a big powerhouse, you gotta be assertive early and let them know, I'm gonna be on you all night. And when I want to touch you, I'm going to close that distance. I've been talking about this forever. A huge downfall for WMMA fighters, for these girls, is their lack of being assertive. They're not assertive enough. Too much shadow boxing. You're throwing punches and whatnot, knowing you're too far away to land them. Knowing that you're out of range. You understand? I talked about in the previous video how when you do that, you actually are giving your opponent more courage. You're giving them time to think. They're processing your speed and everything. Because you're not disrupting anything. You're punching air. They're going to get more and more courage. But if you're stepping and you're closing distance and you letting them know that you mean business, that's always a better position to be in. Always. Be first because you don't have the best speed. You can't afford to be out trading and playing that type of game. Be first. Close that distance and keep using the jab. She has a monstrous... Have y'all ever seen a female with a power jab? I've never seen that. And I'm telling you, go back and look at that. She popped her with a jab so hard, Zheleznyakovan's eyes rolled in the back of her head, and she was out. She dipped. She dipped out. She took off. She hopped on her bike and drove off after she ate that jab. And after that, she just was running a marathon for the rest of the fight. I've never seen a chick with a significant jab, with a dangerous jab. Croden got a dangerous jab. I'm telling you, man, she got bricks for fists. And it's frustrating to see that not fight up to their potential. Go to waste. Probably, lose again and then get kicked out. Then get traded. Sort of semi-unprecedented type of fighter, and gift, talent went to waste. That's what it will start to feel like. I welcome the next Jessica Andrade. I welcome the next Jessica Andrade type fighter. And, Melissa got the power, but she don't have that other stuff. At times she can be outboxed, but if you ask me, at times she can be outboxed. She's got a good jab, pretty good jab. Speed is not the best. She got a pretty good right hand, right cross. Everything she throws with both hands, don't matter, got power. Everything in her fists got power. Her kicks, I think she should throw more kicks. More leg kicks and everything, especially more leg kicks. As a big fighter, I think that should be a huge part of her game, leg kicks. You want to slow these girls down. Slow them down. Because you're going to have to get used to this, girl. These fighters are going to run from you. They're going to run from you. Your whole style just needs to be based on stopping them from trying to run all night. Get in there, boom, start attacking them legs right away. Put them in a position where they ain't got no choice but to stand there. And when they stand there, they are all yours. Now you have to bang it out. So, we'll see if she makes any changes. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I could be mistaken. Maybe she maybe she moves up the rankings. As of right now, I just see a hard future. Somebody recently made a video about Melissa Croden. You know what they titled it? Melissa Croden's Wild UFC Run. She just started her UFC run. Somebody already made a video talking about how wild it's been already. And it's only been wild because she has been in a bloody wars already. Bloody wars already. Were all three of her UFC bouts like bloody wars? I don't know why I'm having a hard time remembering her UFC debut. That was against... Well, okay, she did debut. She debuted against Tanara Lisboa. I wouldn't say that was a bloody war, but she was getting tagged. She was bleeding too, wasn't she? Yeah, I think Lisboa, I think Croden bleeds every fight. But she was getting tagged. Lisboa was tagging her in that fight. So, yeah, that was a rough and tumble type of fight. This one, same way. Luana Santos, that was another sort of like a war, man. Can't afford to be doing that, man. You cannot afford to be doing that. Now this girl is, oops, my bad. Y'all couldn't see that. Wait a minute. Oh, here we go. 35. She's 35. And just been in a unusually high number of bloody fights, man. If you look at the average female fighter, they don't have that many bloody wars like that. They just don't. Not on a regular basis. Croden has them on a regular basis. I think all fighters have bled. All fighters have had a bloody fight. But not several of them bloody fights. Where they just, blood going everywhere. You bleeding from everywhere and all scuffed up. That's like a staple in her fights. Yes, Croden, you're a big, strong girl. But I got a grim outlook on her future. I'm a fan. I'll never miss her fights. And let me say this. She is developing a very fan-friendly reputation with these fights. At the end of the day, fans like entertainment. They want to be entertained. They're going to pick up on the fact that every time Croden fights, it is a war. It is an absolute war, a bloody war. I think she's already well established that reputation. So, but being 35, you might want to look at your health and put a lot of emphasis on not getting hit. Trying not to bleed all over the place in this fight. And just getting the fight over with. Pay more attention to defense, basically, is what I'm saying. And, all fighters, it's not, I don't want it to come off like I'm picking on her, like she got some type of deficiency. All fighters got things that they need to work on. I just wanted to talk about this one. Many people remember I got my videos up. I predicted that the UFC would sign her. I saw it. Everything was there. A big giant. If I'm not mistaken, she is the biggest chick in the division. With real solid power. And if you just look at her, she's built like a tank. But it get frustrating to see a specimen like that go in there and look normal when they don't have to. Right? And I will leave it there.